Have you ever wondered about where the Triforce was in Breath of the Wild? We only ever get to see simple references to the fabled golden triangles, but never the actual artifact itself. Across the Zelda universe, the Triforce is featured on title screens, armor sets, shields, and ancient art. It's no secret that the legendary artifact is the pinnacle and most recognizable symbol of The Legend of Zelda. So why was it not in the series' latest title, Breath of the Wild? Not including the Triforce seems like a deliberate choice given its impact on the rest of the games in the series. Could it be that the Triforce wasn't present due to a greater plotline coming in the Breath of the Wild sequel that will include the golden artifact? Could it be that the Triforce will return to Hyrule? Hello my friends on the internet, Masked Nintendo Bandit here, and today we're gonna delve into the Triforce, its lore, and its absence and theoretical return to the land of Hyrule. Along the way, if you like what you're seeing and hearing, be sure to leave this video a like so YouTube will recommend it to other Zelda fans, and subscribe to Masked Nintendo Bandit to grow our channel. Thanks for watching and sticking around, and without further ado, here we go. To start off with, let's go over briefly where the Triforce came from, what it is, and what purpose it serves in the world of Hyrule. The Triforce was born, according to the Great Deku Tree from Ocarina of Time, when the three goddesses who created the world, Din, Furore, and Nehru, left their creation and departed back to the heavens above. The Triforce was created at their point of exit from our world. It consists of 3 golden triangles, each representing the essence of one goddess. Their essences are power for Din, wisdom for Nehru, and courage for Furore. The balance is represented both figuratively and literally in the mathematical equivalence of 3 congruent triangles. This balance is known as the ultimate power, and legend states that whoever touches the Triforce will have their deepest wishes granted. However, the blessing comes with an omen, in that if an individual whose heart is imbalanced touches the relic, the Triforce will split into its separate pieces and seek out individuals who best represent those pieces respectively. It cannot be known for sure why the goddesses chose to leave behind such a glorious and horrifying temptation for the races of the world to quarrel over, but the task of defending the relic was given to the goddess Hylia, her descendants, and the Sheikah tribe. Now that we've refreshed our minds on the purpose of the Triforce, let's talk about where it may be in the events of Breath of the Wild. Since Breath of the Wild has been confirmed to take place after all 3 timelines, let's retrace our steps and figure out where the golden relic was last seen in each of the timelines. Starting with the child timeline, the Triforce is last seen in Twilight Princess. Although never once mentioned by name, throughout the entire game it is clear that the Triforce's power exists within the 3 individuals chosen of the goddesses, Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf. Differing from several other Zelda titles, in Twilight Princess, the 3 start off already wielding the pieces of the relic within themselves, as displayed on the backs of their hands. At the end of the game, when Link defeats the Demon King Ganondorf, the Triforce of Power refuses to empower Ganondorf, leading to his death. We have no evidence that the pieces leave any of them following the final battle, so it's very possible that the Triforce pieces continue to follow the descendants of the Chosen 3 through their bloodlines. In the adult timeline, the Triforce isn't mentioned in Spirit Tracks or the Phantom Hourglass. It is, however, a pivotal plot device in the previous game, The Wind Waker. In both similarity, but also in contrast to Twilight Princess, the game begins in the same pattern with the Triforce divided into its 3 separate triangles. Following the events of Ocarina of Time, the Triforce of Wisdom rests with Zelda, and Power rests with Ganondorf, who has returned to Hyrule. But the Triforce of Courage was shattered into 8 pieces after the Hero of Time left the adult timeline to regain his lost days as a child, meaning the Hero of Winds does not possess the relic's power. At the end of the game, the Triforce is fully assembled again by Ganondorf, but King Daphnis wishes for the land of Hyrule to be washed away forever. After granting the wish, the Triforce disassembles and disappears into the distance, implying its return to the Sacred Realm after its use has been depleted. Since Hyrule was then washed away after the events of Wind Waker, this definitely explains the Triforce's lack of presence in the following games in the adult timeline. Finally, in the Fallen timeline, the Triforce is shown in its entirety all the way up until the last game chronologically. At the end of the adventure of Link, it is reassembled and used to reawaken the slumbering Princess Zelda. Following these events, we can assume the Triforce follows the same behavior pattern from the Wind Waker, meaning after it acknowledges and completes a wish, it returns to the Sacred Realm where it rests indefinitely. We know where the Triforce is before the events of Breath of the Wild, but to position it properly within the game, we still need to figure out which timeline Breath of the Wild stems from. As mentioned before, Breath of the Wild takes place after all 3 timelines, but is not confirmed to take place in any of them. There are 2 theories I think are each believable in their own right. The first is that it takes place in the child timeline. According to this theory, we know it can't take place in the adult timeline because of specific landmarks being present, such as the Temple of Time and Lon Lon Ranch from Ocarina of Time, or the ruins of Arbiter's Grounds from Twilight Princess. These landmarks exist in Hyrule, the same Hyrule that was washed away and forgotten about at the end of the events of the Wind Waker, thus signifying that it can't take place in the adult timeline. The Fallen timeline does show some similarities in Breath of the Wild, such as the appearance of Lynel's and Hinox's, and Link's cap having a stripe in it, but there are more similarities with the child timeline than there are with the Fallen. If Breath of the Wild is a child timeline entry, this would mean that the Triforce is still split among the Chosen 3, and each of them possess their shard of the Triforce still. The other theory is actually a 4th timeline theory, sometimes called the Unified Timeline. This theory states that, using the same what-if mentality that spawned the Fallen timeline, what if Link didn't return to the child timeline at the end of Ocarina of Time? This could help explain why the Sheikah technology and Hylian armies were so prepared for the inevitable return of Ganon, who vowed he will eventually break out of his seal since he still possessed the Triforce of Power after Link defeated him at the end of Ocarina of Time. It would also help explain the appearance of Ganondorf in the Breath of the Wild sequel trailer, but that's another entire theory for another video. If we follow this timeline theory, the Triforce is actually in the same state as it would be at the end of the child timeline, split into 3 and resting with the chosen individuals, just like at the ending of Ocarina of Time. With this being the case in either theory, I think it's safe to say that the Triforce in Breath of the Wild is still resting with Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf. This would explain how Ganondorf's corpse was able to manifest the Calamity Ganon out of malice. In addition to being the vessel of Demise's hatred, the corpse still possesses the power of the Triforce. I believe we could very well see the return of the Triforce since Ganondorf is now seemingly coming back to life. Once he resurrects and gains consciousness again, will the Triforce pieces shine once more? Will the Triforce of Power be removed from Ganondorf and his lineage? Will Ganon himself be wished away for all eternity? Whatever happens, if the Triforce returns to Hyrule, we can only imagine what that will mean for Breath of the Wild sequel. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below what you thought. All of that will help bring this video to other Zelda fans just like yourself and grow the channel. I look forward to seeing you in my next Zelda video. Have a great rest of your day. Peace!